I've ever met, and creative.
Yeah.
There was no quit with Luis either. It's like you could be working, I mean, we work 18, 20-hour days, you know, with $80 a month. Because you love your craft, you know, this is what you want to do. And of course, you know, being farm workers, hey, you know, comes with the territory too.
So we had a totally different perspective. You're on stage performing for farm workers.
Yes.
And that was you.
Yes. Yeah, with farm workers. And most of the people that worked in the company had been farm workers because the theater started on the strike lines, the UFW strike.
Or, you know, and I remember my cousins who were in the UFW, and, you know, two of my cousins are married to Susan Chavez's daughters. So those guys on the strike were paid $5 a week. They actually have to call them up and say, will you cash a check?
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, because
or you didn't get paid.
You didn't get paid, yeah. It was a different time, and it was a time of sacrifice, and actors were much more socially conscious. And
well, that was the generation that gave birth to the Chicano movement, that eventually created the opportunities for Chicano youth in the school systems, and out of that, you know, from then on came, you know, inclusion into Hollywood, more and more steps. So we owe a great deal to that struggle.
Yeah, we do. Let's take a look at this clip.
No damn Western Union. No letter, no nothing. Had to hear over coffee and lollipops that you're walking the damn road like a hobo. I'd have met you at the bus or any damn place. He's your kid, man.
Hey, tú cabrón, you think better than anybody else.
Just get him out of here. What do you want?
I thought you wanted it.
What?
Watch out.
I don't want his pork chop. I want his life.
Comments, that obviously is the most requested line of my entire life. And the second comment is when the Mi Familia clip, and talking about the politics and how we're viewed and how we view ourselves, is that we always get criticized because they say that we as a people don't get along, right? Oh, you Latinos, you never can get along and work together and stuff. Well, you know, Jimmy Smits is Puerto Rican and Dutch.
Yeah.
Eastside is Puerto Rican. Jennifer Lopez is Puerto Rican. Our father was from Mexico. I'm Chicano, so is Lupe. The director, Gregory Nava, is Basque, okay, Spanish, and Chicano. So when they say that we don't get along, that's bullshit.
No, it's true. I mean,
look at the North Koreans and the South Koreans, man. It happens in every culture.
Yeah.
The Irish and the English.
Yeah. No, it does, and I think what's great about this program is that we're, not only do we get to honor you and honor Lisa, is that, you know, Lisa is Puerto Rican, you know, East Coast, Chicano, Mexican American. I think our diversity is our strength. I think that's what makes us strong.
Absolutely.
And I think that's something no one really talks about.
And so rich in stories.
But you're a director, so what lessons have you learned from other directors?
I think patience. One of the things. This film that I worked with recently with Eddie's son, Michael.
Yeah.
Olmos. I really admired the way he worked because he was very, very patient, very nurturing with the talent. Especially he had a first-time lead.
Yeah.
And he is really patient, but at the same time, he knows exactly what he wants. So the preparation is one of the things that I learned a lot. That there's nothing like preparation and having everything set so that you're comfortable with being able to give people freedom. But yet you can guide them to where you want the story to go.
Yes, it's an odd balance because you're director, not dictator.
Yeah, you're not dictating.
And what you have to do is
And then you don't want to tell people what to do. You want to give them room to be creative.
and to come back with choices. For you to
Yes,
sit there and
absolutely.
say, you know, that's great, can we try it this way? I think the best directors I've ever worked with have always been that way. It's more, they're encouraging you. I remember a director back in the day, if I did something, oh, Rick, that's really stupid, let's do it again. And that's really stupid, let's do it again.
And they're all, and they all have a different
Yeah.
way of working. Stephen Frears, for example, he just gives you complete freedom. And he even pretends that he doesn't know what the hell he's doing. First of all, he's an insomniac too, so,
Yeah.
you know. And then Tony Scott, for example, Tony, when he gives you the sides for the day, you know, the shooting schedule, it comes with his storyboard. So that you're seeing how he wants to set up the shot and what he wants to feature and where you feature in that. And so it gives you a huge insight into what's going on in his mind.
It's amazing.
And unfortunately, Tony Scott
Took his own life.
took his own life. And it was tragic loss because he's an extremely talented man.
And he took his own life. It was a shock to everyone. I mean, you kind of...
Still is.
It still is. You're saying,
Nobody knows.
why?
Even Ridley doesn't know.
No. And that's the oddest thing because, you know, this is a man I actually worked with his wife. And you know her as well. Beautiful woman, beautiful family, beautiful. That's, I think for us in Hollywood is the hardest thing when you see people like Robin Williams or someone like that, when they take their own life, it becomes shocking to you. It's like, you almost look at Robin Williams and go, well, if Robin Williams took his own life, I should have killed myself years ago. I mean,
Really feel old.
yeah, I mean, I'm going, why am I still walking around? Because
Any of us.
any of us.
In this business. You know, the interesting thing about Tony and Ridley is that they had competing projects about Pancho Villa. I think Ridley's is Tom Mix and Pancho Villa.
Yeah.
And I don't remember the title of Tony's, but we sat down and talked about it because he would go to Chihuahua because he was a mountain climber.
Yeah.
And he talked about going to the canyon, you know,
Copper Canyon.
Copper Canyon.
Yeah, great place.
Cañón de Cobre, and he would go climbing there and stuff. And so the way he took his own life didn't surprise.
Yeah, I mean,
Climbed up on the
it was
trail,
on a bridge.
on the bridge.
And I think, you know, I've been to Copper Canyon and it's a beautiful place. It's 3 times bigger than the Grand Canyon, something like that, 3 times bigger. And there I was, and there's Tarahumara Indians. My grandmother was, you know, Tarahumara, she was dark. And tough. 'Cause that,
Tarahumaras are the greatest runners in the world.
greatest runners in the world, and believe me, I knew, just go ahead and let her spank me because I'd never outrun her. So, maybe she'd get me quick. But I was there and I remember seeing a little kid playing with a wooden ball that he had carved himself and was so happy and just amazing. And I remember coming home, my little boy's asking for a Nintendo and everything else. So I got him the wooden ball I wanted.
Go chase this
So there you
thing.
go, chase that, kick it around, be happy. You played a lot of military men, and this is Oxnard, and this is a military place. There you are behind us. You booked an award-winning play, Veteranos, Legacy of Valor. It honored military men, their contributions by Latinos in American defense. Let's take a look at this clip.
I think it's very educational. I think that all our young people should be, especially the Latin descent, should be involved to see a portion of this. And I think it really makes them stand no taller to know what we've gone through to be who we are today.
Private David Barkley Cantu, U.S. Army, World War I. right. Don't use your Mexican name?
Yes, I remember.
It's just, they don't understand.
Mademoiselle from Armentières, parlez-vous? Mademoiselle from Armentières, she hasn't been kissed in 40 years. Hinky-dinky, parlez-vous?
Ladies and gentlemen, David Dennis Bartley Cantu.
Amazing.
It's one of the stories.
Yeah, one of the stories, but that's, I think what's great about that is that we're not showing Latinos how much we've contributed to the military and what we've done. I mean, my father was in World War II, he was in Vietnam, my uncle was in, of course, Korea, most of my family was even in Iraq and all that. My uncle died in World War II in a Japanese concentration camp, captured in enforced March of Bataan and all that. And when we look at ourselves in the media, I remember seeing, Platoon, and I saw one Latino.
With a bandana.
Yeah. All of a sudden it's like, how does Cholo get here? Vietnam. And,
Or in Kelly's Heroes, when I think it's Perry Lopez, isn't it?
Yeah.
Where they get him to kill the German with a knife.
Yeah, yeah.
But even when it's documented, for example, even at the level of government, like the Department of Defense or the Medal of Honor Society, they get the history wrong. For example, they say the first Latino to earn a medal was David Bartley Cantu, but that's not so. It was in the Civil War. There were 3 of them.
Yeah.
So we helped them correct that. And then Macario Garcia's name was misspelled. And then David Gonzalez from World War II, they had the wrong picture for him. So even while they try, they don't bother to do their due diligence as they expect us to do. And yet, the participation of Latinos predates the Civil War, back down to the American Revolution.
Yeah. I think also a lot of times what they're not seeing is first of all, is our contribution, but that we are more Medal of Honor winners than any other ethnic group in America. But
those are misconceptions too.
Yeah.
In terms of numbers, no.
No, but in terms of if you put the
Percentage-wise, yes. Oh, by far.
Yeah. No, it's
especially now with the 17 that Obama awarded.
Yeah, and also with they call them green card Marines in Iraq and Afghanistan. They weren't even American citizens, were over there getting their green card.
Yeah, and the 17 that Obama awarded were only Army, didn't include Marine Corps, like Guy Gabaldon.
I think what you're doing is great because you're bringing that out. Another theme in your work I've seen is immigration. Immigration has been important in your work. Do you think as a Latino artist that we really need to talk about immigration now more than ever?
Absolutely. We're the only ones that really understand it. Unless you're Asian Pacific American, then you're going to do that experience. Because I think that was criticized recently, right? During these...
What Bush said about the anchor babies, he's saying, I'm talking about the Asians.
Exactly, exactly. So we're the ones that are going to tell that story. The film that Lupe and I were in, which was El Norte, which kind of gave rise to that whole immigrant kind of story from Mexico and Latin America. And those movies are still being done, but they're not being done with the kind of accuracy that people of that culture can portray.
Yeah, I think what they look at is, what's funny about Washington and all the politicians, they're jumping on the immigration thing, saying that, we got to build this wall, which is amazing to me because it's like Game of Thrones. They have to build the wall, not to keep out the White Walkers, to keep out the Brown Walkers. So, and that's what they're talking about. But that wall is a fantasy, and building that wall, I would say, who's going to build it? Because,
Yeah, exactly.
but
I was going to mention that in the Hollywood version of it, for example, when they tried, there was a film that I had gone up for, and the character was undocumented, who was crossing over, who didn't speak any English really, albeit broken up, right? Well, the actor they hired didn't speak any Spanish. But to them, it didn't matter. And when I also read the script, it was written with a Puerto Rican or Caribbean dialect. And so I thought it was a comedy. And so I went in and I even called my agency and I said, is this a comedy? Am I supposed to, is this like, because these guys are Puerto Rican,
So
They're not
Puerto Ricans are born with citizenship.
Yeah. And so when I went in to talk to the casting director, she was kind of indignant about it and say, oh, well, nobody cares about that.
Yeah,
That's pretty much the attitude.
well, it is the attitude. But I think what's going to happen more is, as long as we have more Latinos behind the scenes, that's going to help change it. Because
Which is a point of contention for me.
Yeah, tell me.
In terms of who is it that really empowers Hollywood financially?
Latinos.
We were just talking about
No,
it.
we buy more tickets than any other group as Latinos.
If it wasn't for Latinos, the Fast and Furious wouldn't be the mega hit that it is.
No, they do what
Spend more at the box office, and who of the 1.23 trillion buying power? It's Latinas.
Yeah.
So all of that,
True, look at these shoes.
all of that revenue, and I see them when they drive in the cars, right? and all of that revenue is of course what's keeping Johnny Depp and Brad Pitt and all these guys in the positions that they are.
Well, and nothing to be proud of, but you do know that the pirates were Latinos, right?
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah, Pirates
Hello,
of
Johnny
the
Depp.
Caribbean.
I'm just saying. And one of our greatest heroes, Ben Affleck. How does that happen?
Yeah, what she's talking about is the movie Argo. When you see the movie Argo, it's about Ben Affleck goes on over and brings people, crosses the border, and
The hostages, he frees the hostages.
now, first of all, the CIA found a Mexican American who'd been in this country with 4 generations or something from Colorado.
But he looked Arabic.
Yeah, and they brought him on over there. And I thought about this, who better than to figure out how to cross a border and smuggle some people over than a Mexican?
Somebody who looks like Saddam Hussein, because
Exactly.
Saddam Hussein looked like everybody's deal.
I saw Saddam Hussein in the quinceañera one
I
time.
know. I saw him in the mariachi playing the guitarrón.
My dad looked like he's Saddam Hussein.
Yeah.
Like, Daddy,
No, I thought
shave that.
that was rough for us Mexicans because we're looking at half the Iraqis going, that looks like my cousin. So, no. But let's get back to this other role that everyone talks about. Because I know every time I mention your name, something always brings up Blood In, Blood Out. I mean, that is, I don't know if many people see Blood In, Blood Out. There you are. So here it is, Blood In, Blood Out, directed by Taylor Hackford. Now, who also produced La Bamba. So I have to say Taylor Hackford has gone from Blood In, Blood Out.
It was written and directed by Luis Valdez.
Yeah. It was La Bamba, written and directed by Luis Valdez. But that was an amazing role. And you were talked about in, I believe, Variety. Actually mentioned you when you talked about the ensemble of you as one of the standouts.
Very kindly.
Yes. But how did you approach this role? Is there something, how do you approach this role in any of your other roles?
Well, you obviously can't do a lot of research.
No.
Unless you're Danny Trejo.
Yeah. Danny Trejo did the research.
Or Jimmy Baca,
Yeah.
the writer.
Oh yeah, from New Mexico. Yeah. I actually spoke, me and Danny Trejo went and spoke at a prison. And I gotta tell you, me and Danny Trejo at a prison is something else.
Danny's an incredible success story in the right way.
A great man who gives back. But the best thing he ever did is he told me, before I'm speaking to the group of prisoners, I was wearing a suit, and I said, I would shank me right now. And Danny goes, let me talk to
They
you.
would call me cupcakes.
Yeah, right. The cupcake. So Danny goes, let me talk before you talk, Rick. I would like to introduce you. And I said, Danny, go ahead, because right now I'm not feeling comfortable. So he goes, listen up, you know me, I was a Pelican Bay, I was in all these places, yeah, you know something? Don't respect me for being in prison, respect this man for never being in prison. And he said, give it up for Rick Nakata, and totally different.
Yeah.
It was a different experience. Amazing man. But how did you approach this role?
Well, Taylor was very good about providing us with material, you know, as far as research literature. We got to speak a lot with Jimmy.
Yeah.
And then ironically, my backdoor neighbor had been in San Quentin.
Oh, really? It's always good.
That's what I'm saying, dude. You know, that's
How do you know he's been to Santa Quentin?
I said, you know anybody that's been to San Quentin? Yeah, me.
You're like, how do you work moving?
So it was that kind of, and also, obviously, you know, having grown up on the border, a lot of, that's one of the unfortunate things is too many of our community are represented in those institutions.
Yeah.
And so there isn't a lack of material to draw from in terms of speaking with someone who has had the experience.
Yeah.
So that was helpful. From a psychological perspective, my sister has always helped me a lot. She's a psychologist. And also with the veterans things, you know, she worked as a psychologist at the Loma Linda Veterans Hospital. And so when it came time to building the character from a psychological perspective, she provided a lot of insight into it so that the choices that I made were consistent with the character.
And the movie came out after the 1992 LA riots.
Yes, it was released in '94.
Yeah, and it was shot in a prison with real inmates.
San Quentin.
So it wasn't
There was
like-
only 8 of us actors, and everybody else were inmates.
Wow. So,
And it breaks down to color lines in there. And anybody who's brown, you're over there. Anybody who's a shade of this, you're still over here. Hawaiians, you're still brown, you're over here. You know?
yeah. Well, that's the segregation in prison is
Yeah, the only people that have a real, and color, you know, they don't allow color any particular because of the norteño, sureño thing, the red and blue.
Oh, I know Eddie, Edward James Olmos was threatened.
Yeah, but we won't talk about that.
No, we won't talk about that. No,
I respect that situation.
Yeah, he told me that story.
But in San Quentin, the only ones that are allowed to wear red bandanas are Native Americans. And they have a spiritual lodge in a corner sweat lodge that is separated by cyclone fence, and not even the guards can go in there. So they keep that as sacred land, it's sovereign land, and only Native American can go in.
As Mexicans, we have the Temescal, the sweat lodge. We also have in our culture as well.
So that's what Puerto Ricans would mess up. We walk in with red back down, be like, hey, what's up?
And the sweat lodge is also cold. I don't have any air conditioning.
Yeah. I've been in the sweat lodges. Did you have any reservations about taking the role or fear at all?
I'll tell you that the only time when I actually had second thoughts about it is when we were going to go start working there. You walk into the sally port, and then all of a sudden they give you this sheet of paper to sign. And what it says is that if you are taken hostage by the inmates, that the government will do nothing to bargain for your release.
What?
Yeah.
Basically, you're on your own.
You're on your own.
And so, you know, you sign that with an air of trepidation, but once you do that, you know, nobody forced me to do it, so.
No, I think what my prison experience really wasn't that. I gave a speech, but as prison I did in my lifetime. But you know what saddened me about that whole thing is I looked out and I saw a lot of Latinos in the prison, and these were, you know, good-looking young men, great, you know, intelligent, and I could tell if I talked to them. And I think the biggest problem we've got, it's many times we're incarcerated, not educated. And incarceration versus education, I think that is the biggest problem we have.
Yeah, Sal Castro, who really basically started the walkouts in East LA.
Yeah.
He always used to say, we don't need more cops, Chicano cops, putting more Chicanos in jail. We need more Chicano lawyers to get them out.
Yeah.
And keep them out.
No, it's so true.
He also said, that when you educate a man, you educate an individual, but when you educate a woman, you educate the family.
It's true. No, very true. And also, it's like,
Very, very wise man.
yeah, very well done.
That's what it starts.
Now, mainstream audiences probably know you best as Cesar Cruz. And I think I love Weeds. I love what you did in Weeds. And you're nominated for SAG Award. And you're also nominated for SAG Ensemble Award
Ensemble.
as well. Now, let's see this clip from Weeds.
What the hell is this? Hey, guy, where's Andy? He told me to come here.
I put 1,000 miles on my car for nothing.
No, I talked to him. Where's Andy's cell phone?
This is my phone. Came to me from the sky.
Give us the phone.
Fuck you, Peter! It's mine! Reprogrammed it so it can make sandwiches. You can buy it, but it's gonna cost you a lot.
Oh my God! Oh my God! Oh my God!
Why did you do that?
That was close. Close? You killed him. No, the cat. I almost shot the cat. You took it down.
You have to get rid of the body.
I almost killed an innocent kitty. The blood. So much blood. I'll take care of you now, Senor Gato. Mr. Cat. Senor Gato. All right, kitty. You're kitty. I called Andy. This guy answered. I didn't know what to say. I didn't want to die.
It's a lease.
Please, don't kill me like that. Don't kill me at all. Let me live.
There is a penalty if I go over the allotted mileage.
I'll call the company. Talk them out of it. I'm good at that.
Help me carry the body.
Okay.
Well, I mean, Weeds was kind of a bit of a dramedy. I mean, it was comical, and then it was dramatic, and
Yeah.
I happen to really like that.
That was really quirky.
No, it's quirky.
Everybody always thought we were using this stuff, and it was that was the subject of the title of the.
Were they really worried that you guys or their weed was actually being smoked on that stage?
Everybody was having so much fun.
Yeah. Well, because there's actual prop house that has prop marijuana.
Yeah.
And it's like amazing how.
All kinds of stuff.
Yeah, like they have actual props that look really convincing.
Yeah, I think one critic, and Hemke, he's a great guy. He's Dominican. The critic said that he compared us. He said that we were the Abbott and Costello, the Latino Abbott and Costello. That's great.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, what I like about you is that as a comedian, you approach comedy very truthfully. And I've been on panels with you before, and I tell you, I was on a panel with you. I forget what college it was, and you were brilliant. Laverne College, and we were both at that panel, and you said some incredible stuff to actors. But so, getting back to this is questions for both of you, sir, Enrique. Now, both of you have been in business for a long time, which gives you wisdom. And is it changing for the better?
Is it great?
Yeah, we both have a little bit of great ourselves. How do you feel about that?
About
Is the roles for Latinos, all this, is it changing for the better? Or do you see a little light at the end of the tunnel? I know the numbers are still bad for us.
yeah, they're worse than the 50s.
Yeah.
I think eventually it will change for the better. I think we've sort of fallen back a bit. I don't know, to me we have. And you kind of saw this rise in a lot of, black films and more African-American, based storylines and stuff, and the Latino, once again, was kind of kicked to the curb. It's almost like we get up, and then we fall back again, and then we get up, and then we fall back again.
Like Sisyphus.
Yeah.
Well, Time Magazine, I remember recently came out with, it was a decade of Latino, I think it was about 10 years ago. And then you go, well, the decade turned into a weekend. And that's kind of been the problem. I mean...
Well, we do take 2 steps forward, one step back. In terms of the numbers of roles, certainly, yeah, we are probably worse off in the 50s. It's been documented.
Yeah.
But however, in the quality of the roles, some of that has changed. I'll give you an example. I worked with Jimmy Smith on his series, Outlaw. Now that his character had been a Supreme Court judge. You never would have seen that. Maybe a low-level judge's assistant or something. But now he was the lead and he was a Supreme Court judge.
Well, that's also changed. I mean, I agree with this. We had Isai Morales there. And
He's the President of the United States.
Isai Morales is the President of the United States.
And
I played the First Lady.
First
On the
Lady.
event.
Yeah, so I think that's what changed.
Yeah.
and where you were mentioning Platoon and the one Mexican who's, maybe on the side over there, in Fury, World War II with Brad Pitt, you got Michael Pena and there's part of the crew. So in that respect, yeah, it's improving
The quality.
the quality, but it's not been a simple road. It's been a lot of people protesting or calling out the studios and saying, hey, you can't cast an Italian as Frida Kahlo.
Yeah, that was your wife, Belle Hernandez, is Latin, which is a big publication for Latinos. That's how it started.
Yeah.
She actually
The
protested.
godmother of Latino cinema.
The godmother. Belle's here tonight.
She's right there. Oops.
Yeah, she's here tonight. But do we have? I mean, now we're looking at the presidential election. We're hearing people saying some horrible things about immigration.
And Latinos running for president.
And Latinos running for president. And sometimes I worry about their politics a little bit. Like, I mean, and that's part of worries me. Sometimes you can be Latino, but are you really for Latinos? I feel we need our own politicians that aren't for the Democratic Party, aren't for the Republican Party, or for the Latino Party, are truly for us. Because I think a lot of them get moved by policy.
One way or the other.
Yeah, one way or the other. And that's some of the problems now. Because now immigration is Trump is getting the numbers purely based on immigration. He says, let's make America great again. I really think he's saying, let's make America white again.
Yeah, and then he makes statements like he did to Jorge Ramos, go back to Univision.
Yeah, which he makes us say, go back to Mexico.
Exactly.
But as people like us who work in Hollywood, we get more of a responsibility to change those things. It's tough for actors, I know for you guys.
Well, listen, the American dream, I mean, from a political standpoint, the greatest export that the United States has ever had is the American dream. And that has been conveyed through film and television.
Yeah.
For many, many years, it was strictly film. And so the American dream, and who participated in that, we rarely did as, again, the leads. It's always been the white heterosexual male that has been the hero based on the hero's journey, which is Joseph Campbell's work, who worked in great part with George Lucas. So that particular image is what we all, particularly Latinos, as we were saying, spend so much at the box office to maintain that image that is transmitted globally. This is the guy.
Yeah, they call it, for writers, they call it, what's our point of entry? Story. What's our point of entry? Who are we following in the story? And normally, predominantly, it is white males.
Exactly.
I want to add as well that, ignorance and idiotic thinking is going to be around forever. So it doesn't matter what Trump says, and, I'm like, get a new wig. I can't. My thing is, Latinos, and I think we were talking about this, Latinos, we need to create more of a sense of pride in our own history, in our heroes. Those people that are at the top have the opportunity to create, education about our heroes. And, to create a sense of pride and importance in what we've contributed to this country. And, the importance that we have, like Anissa was saying, in the numbers, in the buying power. And if they're not choosing to tell those stories, and they're just worried about just kind of acclimating into whatever.
Yeah, Latinos have the buying
That's-
power of Canada.
Yeah.
Well, there are a lot, and we were talking backstage earlier about this also, is that we go to a lot of events in Hollywood
Yeah.
with our peers, and we see in these events, the posters of, this much marketing power, and Latinos spend more at the box office, and you look around the room, and you see producers and writers and actors all struggling for work. And they're trying to make stories that reflect the truthfulness of our community, but they don't have the revenue to do it with at the level that a Spielberg would have. He can make a low-budget movie and it'll be $30 to $40 million.
Yeah.
But an A-list Latino film is going to be 10, 11.
Yeah.
But when you release the film, there's no forgiveness there. There's so you have bad sound, you have bad lighting, because you just don't have the resources for them.
Well, it's funny. So it's always been a problem for us because when a Latino does a crime, they blame all the Latinos. When an Anglo does a crime, he's a lone gunman. He's somehow, they don't say the Anglo did it, it's like he's a lone crazy gunman. I don't know what happened to him because Anglos would never do that.
Well, and also we were talking about it earlier, is how it's defined is that if you have two cultures or a culture and the individuals are vying against each other, and then we do it, it's a racial thing. Those guys can't get along. It's their race. But when it's them, it's politics.
Yeah.
So it's all in the terminology and how we're portrayed, and then we start parroting that. Yeah, as Latinos, we don't get along, man. We can't get together. We can't work together. Here we are.
No,
Here we are.
that's what this whole program's about. And it's also, I think we need to change the words. When they talk about 11 million undocumented immigrants, I say 11 million future Americans. 11 million more taxpayers, 11 million because they did a study, they found out that we need about 5 working people to pay for our Social Security. And the numbers alone, we need them to be Latinos.
Yeah.
So when you start cutting back on Latinos, there's a good chance when you get Social Security, you'll be having cat food. Because we need us here. That's what they're not seeing. And we're obviously buying the tickets. Let me get back to this right now. Here's a fun fact for everyone. I asked you sing.
Oh, yeah.
And Enrique sings too. You're part of a musical group, Flor del Pueblo. And there you are right there. Look at you. Yeah. And there you are. And your song is in the Smithsonian's Folklore.
Yeah, the Smithsonian put together a compilation of songs. The CD is called, I think it's Raíces del Slam, Song from the Chicano Movement.
Mm-hmm.
And so they selected one song from a lot of different groups. And our signature song used to be Soy del Pueblo.
How's that go?
It's got an Afro-Cuban rhythm. It was written by Carlos Puebla, Cubano. And that's a kind of flavor that we used to do our music.
Mm-hmm.
We had an incredible conguero. They used to play with a lot of salsa groups in New York. So we eventually became a compadre too.
Well, the great thing about this program is we had, Quetzal, who's a Grammy Award-winning band that played here. And from here. And so
I was teaching Quetzal some requinto.
Really?
Because he always used to play rock.
Yeah. No, they're a great band. I really like them. Here's our final thoughts. If you talk to the young Enrique, what advice would you give him? I'll ask Lisa the same question.
Don't take it personal.
Don't take it personal? It's a good advice.
Personal.
Don't take it personal. Lisa, what would you tell Ron and Lisa with that?
I would tell her, you are amazing, talented, incredible, smart. You have everything it takes. You just believe in yourself and you go for it.
That's beautiful.
That's what I would tell her.
I'd tell the young Rick now to buy Apple. Buy Apple. buy as much Apple stock as you can. That's why I'm going back in time.
I went to school with some of those guys because they were at Berkeley.
Really?
Oh, really? Wow.
Well, see, that's what people aren't talking about. No one knows that you went to
See.
Berkeley. No one knows these things, and that's what this program's about. Bringing out Latinos that we can celebrate
That's
with an audience. Now, thank you both for coming. Thank you both. Now comes my favorite part. We have some time where we actually take a few questions from the audience because this is your chance to ask any question you'd like. Oh, there you are. Yes.
How important is religion in your path to your success? Your faith as a Latino, whether it be Christianity or any other kind of religion?
Are you asking both of us?
Yeah. How important is religion in your faith or your relationship?
There are two things that I never discuss. Politics and religion. Those are extremely personal to me and nobody's business. Even my wife doesn't know who I vote for and what party I belong to.
Oh, in terms of believing in yourself, sorry.
I believe, I rest a lot on faith. I do. Because that's part of believing in myself, just for me, personally.
For me too, I think I am learning that faith really does exist. And certainly, I did a Rick Nahara golf tournament that Enrique came to. And I was kind of feeling bad because I put a lot of work in that tournament. That's kind of tough. And then there's a raffle, and I bought some tickets and I forgot about it. And I won a free trip to Puerto Vallarta. And I know it sounds as crazy as it sounds, I went, thank you, God. Thank you, God. So I think in the business and the art, I think we as artists look at the world to see the miracle it is. And I always figured someone higher than me had to create it. It's not an accident. I don't think there's accidents.
Yeah, there are certain moments when sometimes your politics or your faith can factor into a decision that isn't necessarily consistent with the role or the project, and you will deny yourself an opportunity because of it, or you will take this over that, and you begin to make those kinds of either socio-political or emotional decisions. Whereas as an artist, you don't have that. I cannot refuse to play an atheist or a Jimmy Jones type character and bring whatever faith or politics into that. I will both deny myself an opportunity and a chance for that character to be reflected. So that's why I don't factor those things.
That goes back to what I was talking about, judging your character. You can't judge your character. I can be me, and I can believe what I want to believe, but when it comes to being an actor and looking at a character that I'm going to play, I'm not talking about me. So my faith can't come into that. I'm telling somebody else's story. It's someone else's situation.
For me, it's as long as it's the truth. Whatever character I play, it's got to be the truth. And I think that is God's truthful. So as long as it's the truth, I can play it. Next question. Yes?
Yes. First I want to talk to Enrique real quick and just tell you thank you. I don't know if you remember, many years ago when you did the last brown hat, you were in Sacramento. And I was young, still a little kid from the valley. You know, I didn't even know you could go to theater, to school for theater, right? And I invited you and the cast to my aunt's restaurant. And the next morning, you guys just showed up, and that meant a lot. Like there was this guy that was in movies and theater, and Mexicano, and from the fields, you the valley. Like that, you just took the time to reach out to me, you know, and that meant a lot to me. And so I want to thank you for that person, number one. You know, it's kept acting from that. It inspired me to keep going.
Did you audition for me?
Yeah, just yesterday.
Yes, you did. I was having some weird deja vu. I'm like, here's a guy who looks exactly like me that auditioned for me yesterday.
Yeah, you know, that goes along with, and I'm sure we've all experienced it. What we do here is a choice, okay? You could do anything else you want in the world. I chose to do this. And so my choice is to enjoy it as much as I can, whenever I can. Because the alternative is to make myself miserable. Whether it's my clothes, my costume doesn't fit, they called me too early, they called me too late, my dressing room isn't air conditioned, or I can find any number of reasons to be unhappy and miserable on a set. But I choose to enjoy it no matter what it is, because nobody forced me to do it. I made that decision, and I'm not about to make somebody else responsible for my displeasure about it. So you have a choice. Be happy with it.
Yeah, definitely. But I do have a question. A lot of times when we go to these panels and we'll ask, because like, you know, you were talking about, even when you talked to me back then, and then you mentioned also turning down those stereotypical roles. But I know for a fact, more often than not, I won't get called into a casting office if it's not, you know, quote unquote Latino type, you know, this kind of blah blah, you know, gang member or whatever. So it's hard to turn it down because I also almost never get called. I won't have an audition like for a year if I say no to them, right? So then you hear, well, you know, make your own content, do your own thing. But sometimes I've got $30 in the bank, so you know, how am I gonna make my own content? So my question to you is, do you see those like Michael Pena and Lopez and even the Golden Boy Productions, like $1 billion company, do you see them, the ones with the means, reaching out to make their own content, like Kevin Hart, Chris Rock, when we talk about the African American movies that are taking over, you know, they are making their own content, bringing in their own people and bringing in young people. Because I don't see it, and maybe I'm just not behind the scenes to see it, but are they reaching out and producing and doing maybe what not Spielberg can do, but they still, like Golden Boy, $1 billion. So they still can make some decent movies if they choose to. Is that
You're talking about Golden Boy Oscar?
Oscar de la Hoya.
So
Okay.
yeah, I know he's not necessarily an actor, but
Right.
I'm saying the funds are there, and then you talk about uniting as Latinos together. You know what I'm saying? So is it happening?
Well, you make two distinctions. First of all, Oscar, but he's doing incredible things in the world of sports, including an attorney that we've worked with. You know, now he's the president of Showtime Sports.
Right.
So opportunity begets opportunity. So the way I see other actors is whether it's their success is my success, no matter what they're doing. As an example, Danny Trejo. Danny Trejo has played, you know, to the nth degree, the negative role models. But look what he's doing now. And look what he's done with his life.
Danny Trejo even talks about that, you know, his start for success was he was actually a drug counselor. And one of his clients said, hey, I'm working here, I'm having trouble staying off of drugs, will you come with me at my job? And the job happened to be Runaway Train. He was an actor in Runaway Train. So Danny Trejo came to Runaway Train to help a guy stay off of drugs. And in that, they saw him and said, hey, weren't you in